I was an associate at Covington Burling, and in their telecommunications practice, one of the clients was the CBS Affiliates Association that got very interested in this new satellite technology and wanted to participate in the FCC's first proceeding about domestic satellites. And their position was, we want users to be able to provide service to themselves and have their own receive-only earth stations. I basically fell in love with satellite technology. It seemed very elegant to me. It was, what we used to call distance insensitive, up through the satellite and down, made for a lot cheaper communication. So the big problem in those days was that long distance communications was so expensive you could have only 2.5 television networks and 1 telephone company. But all of a sudden, satellites were it. We would call it today a disruptive technology, and it certainly was. Memorable occasions really were linked to crazy, extraordinary, talented people who I worked with. Tom Whitehead was the first really who developed the Open Skies satellite policy and worked to make the technology more responsive to people's needs. And I worked with him on something we call transponder sales, which really changed the way satellite capacity was marketed. It had to be, in the old days, it was all common carrier. I mean, it was like telephones. And he came up with what he called the shopping center model. And there was a huge response. All of a sudden you had Turner Broadcasting, you had HBO, you had C-SPAN, you had coming in and doing it. It was a great thrill to see that kind of a breakthrough. The other was Rene Anselmo, who was almost certifiably crazy, but he was a genius, and he had an obsession of breaking up the international monopoly on satellites and being able to work with him and enlist in that, charge up San Juan Hill to beat the bad guys was just a wonderful experience. I think most people root for the underdog, and in the case of my career in satellites, the underdog was a person who was trying to upset the status quo, being set upon by large forces, impersonal forces. So it resonated with me. They're not only the underdog, they're trying to do something extraordinary. Take a Brian Lamb. I mean, it's like, hey, with satellite technology, I can change government. I can bring democracy into everyone's living room. So, as I said, that resonated with the way I looked at the world myself. I'm going to repeat myself because what I learned was not only what I did, but who I worked with. So seeing a Rene Anselmo, or seeing a Tom Whitehead, or seeing a Brian Lamb, or seeing some of the other people I've worked with, they believe in their idea. They believe in what they're doing. They believe in the rightness of their cause, and they have enough courage to pursue that cause no matter what the odds. So I've absorbed that myself. So even if not working with one of those guys, but some other client comes and says, I want to use this technology to change the world. I say, right, that's what we're going to do. And I would say most times that's what we did. Someone looking for a career in this industry should go with a startup, should go with a group of people who have a great idea, who have a technology or have a way to get at technology, who are on a mission. And I think that is what they should be looking for, and I think it has an effect. And my clients nowadays are not the old dogs who did the breakthroughs. They're the new dogs who've been working with an Earth observation company and say, there's a better way to do that than just what they're doing. Let's go do it. That's, I think, where the ferment is and where the development is going to be. I think these broadband constellations really where it's at. The GEOs were the first flush. They had tremendous impact. They've had problems. There's been consolidation. They've been overly burdened with debt because of the consolidation in private equity, and I think they kind of played out. I don't mean to offend anyone in the geo business, but what's happening now to me is the new blush of disruptive satellite technology. The technology is still elegant, it's gotten more usable, it's gotten more capacious, and I think it's going to have a tremendous impact. I'm really looking for, satellite 2.0 or 3.0 in terms of its impact on society.